Hello there, welcome. This is English for Hospitality program. Today is meeting 8. My name is Farah and I am your instructor for today. In today's session, we are going to talk about how to give and receive instructions. So, as you remember, we have learned about how to ask and respond to questions from customer in the past few meetings. And today we are going to focus on giving and receiving instructions as someone who works in hospitality industry. So let's get started. So let's do some warming up first. How do you make a good cup of coffee? So I believe that most of you agree that this is a picture of a coffee, a cup of coffee, yeah? So now let's take a look. What do you think? What do you do to make a good cup of coffee? What is the step? What are the steps? So I'll give you some example. If you make an instant coffee, you probably will say, open up the package, pour the coffee, the instant coffee, to a cup, pour a boiling hot water to the cup, and stir together until it's mixed. Now, let's take a look. What do you think? If you make a professional coffee using a professional coffee machine, what are the steps that you do to make a good cup of coffee? You may pause the video now and have a think about the steps of making a good cup of coffee. Now you're back. Okay, so pay attention on some example that I have given before. So I said, open up the package, pour the coffee to a cup, pour a boiling hot water to the cup, and stir it together until it mixed. So if you pay attention, in my steps, there are no subject. I only start the steps with verb, like open up, pour the coffee, pour boiling hot water, and stir it. There are basically starts with verbs, not subject. Yeah. Now, let's take a look at this picture. Imagine that you own a museum. What would be the things that a visitor must not do? If you have visited some museums or some art gallery, you probably will be familiar with the expressions. Now, please pause the video and I'll give you some time to think, and please be back and play the video again once you have the answer. Okay, now you're back. Yes, so if you own a museum and you want the visitor to not do something, you can say, do not touch, or do not, mostly do not touch. Yeah, please do not touch, or do not touch. So that is basically something that people or visitor cannot do. Pay attention on the expressions. Do not touch. The owner of the museum do not say you do not touch or you cannot touch, but it's just say do not touch. There is no subject as well in this expression. And yes, in some instructions, usually it is centered around the verbs. The subject of the instructions is not something that becomes the focus. Yeah. The verbs here identify the actions that is needed to complete the task, and some examples can be mix, stir, turn, pour, add, remove, assemble, disassemble, cut, slice, and so on. There are basically many instructions or many verbs that can be used to give some instructions, especially in the kitchen. Like there are also difference between cutting, slicing, and so on, and chopping, yeah, and so on. And what about the negative verb? It is basically quite similar. There is no subject in the negative verb's instructions. Usually it indicates something that you cannot do or something that you should not do when completing something or doing some activity or task. Some examples, you can say do not, like do not touch, or avoid touching, or avoid throwing something on the toilet. You can say never, stop, not, and so on. This serves as a warning or precautions to prevent mistakes when completing something. Yeah. Now let's do a discussion as a class together with all of your classmates. Let's list the verbs that we need to create that we need to create a tutorial on making an origami paper swan. So you can pause the video now and please discuss with your classmates what kind of verbs that you can use to list to make a tutorial on how to make an origami paper swan. So please pause the video now. Hello, you're back now. In making some origami paper, usually the most common verbs are folding, fold, or maybe cutting, or maybe glue together. Yeah. So or making whole, make a hole. Yeah. So these are some common verbs that can be used on making a tutorial of a paper swan origami. Okay. Now, what about this one? So let's start the class discussion too. Together with all of your classmates, let's list all the things that guest receptionist should not do or should not say when handling a guest. Okay, so you may pause the video now, and once you've done with the discussion, you can come back to the video. Hello, welcome back. So there are basically many things that you should not do or say when handling a guest. Do not say impolitely, or do not meet the customer impolitely. Do not forget to smile, and so on. You probably have um, encountered several other expressions or several other verbs that hotel receptionists should not do or say when handling a guest. Yeah, so let's move on. Now let's do group exercise 1. In groups, please summarize the steps needed to make a good tiramisu as demonstrated by Gennaro Contaldo. So I'll link this video to you. So basically this is a YouTube video. I'll link this to you on the next exercise. So after this video, you can go to the exercise and watch the video with your group members. And then please make the steps on how to make a good tiramisu demonstrated by Gennaro. Yeah. So please do that. You may pause the video now and go back to Talent LMS and click on the video and start doing the exercise together with your partner. So please pause the video now. Okay, welcome back. Now you have done group exercise 1. Let's move on to group exercise 2. In your opinion, what is the best way to make Indomie? Wow. Please create a detailed instructions on how to make Indomie. I know that at the back of the Indomie package, there are some instructions on how to make Indomie, but I want you to go beyond that. Be more creative. You probably can add some vegetables, you can basically add something else, basically create something creative. Yeah, please make more creative way of eating Indomie. It's up to you. You can choose Indomie goreng or Indomie rebus. It's up to you. Up to you and your partner. So you may start discussing with your partner and create the instructions, a detailed instructions on how to make Indomie. Yeah. So that is basically the last exercise for today. Thank you very much for joining the session, and I'll see you again on the next session. Bye.